Oh, I get a salute right out.
Greetings. Hello. Hello, chat. I just got a bunch of notifications that people are watching.
That people are just showing up.
Apparently, even though they've already been in chat. Twitch is being a little weird. So guys, let me know how. Let us know if all is well audio-wise. Sorry, I'm used to starting my streams that way. Thrash time. Thrash hype.
Well, what's wrong, Captain Dav?
It's early?
Everything seems go-do. I saw Krister. I'll just default to that until further notice. I asked Krister a rules question.
Cool.
There's a something that I wasn't sure about in terms of the dreaming and death, but we're gonna wait for an official confirmation. But for now, we'll go by Krister's recommendations. It's all right to doze off. I mean, you know, you can doze off to the sultry tones of thrashing.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Based on what Incisor was listening to, it might be very gentle, dulcet tones.
That's a good point, actually, now that I think of it.
I'm trying to find an appropriate Incisor or thrashing emoji. But I think the table flip is about right. I'm wearing the same thing I was wearing last session because it's the same day, guys. No time has passed. She's just put up her hair.
Flannies are good thrashing clothes?
You can't really tell how bad the color is, but this is a true Patches shirt. It's old. Yeah, it's old. It was my mother's. I don't wear it very often, but it's so comfortable. Woo, as I punch my microphone.
You're allowed to be comfortable in clothes. I mean...
No, she's not.
Secret Canucks fan. Oh my. So, let's get a few things out of the way. The first thing that I'll mention is that this is a bonus stream. What happens in this stream will most likely not be required for those who are following the critical path of the storyline, which is why we don't have an intro. It's why we don't have the fan art at the beginning, etc., because it's not considered a full episode, as it were. Hey, Spaced Out. Yeah, no, sure. If your Exalted game's still on, go for it. But the main thing is that if you're watching this now, it's because you are interested in a little more backstory for Patches or various NPCs. So, not a requirement, but we still like you here anyway. And there we are. So, I'm curious what people think is going to happen. I know what's going to happen, or at least I know what I intend to happen. We'll see whether Kate decides to mess with that.
You know what Incisor means by thrashing. We do not. We have ideas, but are we right? Find out on Exaltwitch. Wait, what? Find out on Changeling the streaming. Now.
I believe that Captain Dav says find out on Changeling.
I think so. Changeling the streaming is a bit of a mouthful.
I just need to start, like, getting, okay, do you remember that for a little while, back in the day, and they recently revived this on television, they'd have gimmick episodes that were live? Like, they had a live ER episode.
Oh my god.
And they had a live, I think they had a live Drew Carey episode at one point, I forget. But then later on they started doing live musical theater on television.
Yeah.
Captain Daff, the reason I'm not playing it today is because this is not an official session. Your recaps are important and special, and they only go on sessions that I intend everyone to see. Thanks for pushing on the roleplay session stuff.
Roleplay session, I guess. Oh.
So Captain Daff, like for instance, the stuff that happens in this session is not necessarily one that I would consider hugely important to enter into a recap. Because one of the things that I wanted to make sure of was that if people wanted to skip these, they could.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to overflow people with content.
Yeah. It's a side quest. That's basically how I'm thinking of them. Not necessary to the full story, but still nice to have. Oh god, I did that wrong.
What did you do wrong?
Instead of getting rid of the tab in my PDF reader that shows me the index, I just closed the PDF itself. I'm smart.
So Krister points out exactly the thing that I was going to mention next. Hey guys, guess what? The Changeling the Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition final release is now out. You can download the PDF or order the print-on-demand version at drivethrurpg.com. That's drive, D-R-I-V-E, through T-H-R-U RPG. We'll do a proper celebration when we're all together, but for now I have to say that I've looked at some of the errata and I'm quite pleased, especially pleased what they did with Selkies.
Yeah, that seems like a good change.
It is a good change because I think that it was a little bit it's a little bit kind of more Selkies are a little more related to Puka than they are towards She, so I sort of liked what they did there. But honestly, I'm just pleased that it's out. We'll of course have to I'll have to go through it a little more to find out exactly where there may be changes and all that. But I'm super pleased. Now, do you have any questions before we start?
I don't, but
some of our deadbeat audience might? Is that what you're saying? Are you calling them deadbeats? That's not very kind.
I'm pretty sure I did not say anything about deadbeats at all. I don't, but they might.
Obviously, this stream is better for some people and less good for others. It's apparently very early in the morning for Magic Master P. Good luck, Kate. Patch the world. Is that what the intention is? Is your intention to patch the world?
No. My mission in this one is not to cure the world. That was Val's mission. Ooh, it's a random codes.
4 a.m. Yikes. All right. Well, then, without further ado, I suggest that we get started. Would you like to sum up what Patches was doing just at the end of the last session? With apologies to Captain Daff, and I know that you pushed to get that recapped out, but I want it to be special.
Most recently... So, most recently, what's her name? Our Puka friend.
Kyoko,
because I have Kaylee written about 10 times on this page and no Kyoko, told us a little bit about Zister and Braum's relationship. And after dealing with the combat at the beginning of session, we were all feeling a little rattled, spent some time at the bar. Patches spoke a little bit with Claude. Names, clearly not.
Yeah, you just
functioning.
struggling with the names today. It's all right.
Yeah. And then after a while, Patches decided that she wanted to actually take Incisor up on the offer to go thrashing. So she went, and I believe they stepped into the elevator at the end of the session.
I think that's actually addressed in Kithbook Redcap, Crusher Cities, that yes, blood does not stay red. When blood dries, it darkens.
Yep.
But
Just 1 second.
And now I've lost my player.
Speaking of Kithbooks. Ding! It's probably mirrored, or maybe it's only mirrored on my...
No, it's not mirrored.
Yay! This will be fun to have around, so I can look at the page of swear words.
Let's see the page of swear words just before we start.
Let us find it.
No, it's a full page.
Yeah. Courtly love, but that's...
I think it might be before Courtly Love.
Yeah, I think so too. Come on.
Well, Methodiel, tragically, we are in an oxygen-rich environment on planet Earth. It's just the way it is. There it is.
Yep. I like how you can recognize it that well. It's a lexicon.
So for people who don't know, my very first Changeling purchase, because I was borrowing books from other people, my very first Changeling purchase was Kithbook Knocker. That's the first book I ever owned for Changeling.
Mm-hmm.
Second was Kithbook Slua. It was technically on the same day, but Knocker's the one I picked up first.
Nice.
Do I plan to keep Infusion in the game? No, I do not. I don't find that Infusion is, as an art, needs to stand on its own. I also like the fact that in 20th, there are no Kith-specific arts. And Infusion feels very much like a Knocker art. It would be weird if other Kith were able to use it.
Yeah.
I think that there are better ways to represent the creation of golems, which is really the kind of the end game for Infusion. I think that protecting an item against banality using glamour seems odd to me. Like, I would rather that Knockers find another way to do those things. And Will-o'-the-Wisp it's kind of strange. So, no, I don't think that Infusion... I think that I would have made the same choice as the developers, and I would have taken Infusion out. Much in the same way that Tailcraft, I don't believe is an art that needed to remain. I'm actually really pleased with the arts that remain in the book, and I also understand that, you know, like there is a possibility that more arts will be added in the future, and I'm down for that. But congrats, Incisor. So I'm going to suggest that we get started, because I'll say that we will go for as long as we need to, and if we end up early, we'll take some more questions. But so now that we're here, if you're gonna need to get ready, go do it now, huh? I'll be waiting here in the office.
I'm ready.
That's it? You're wearing that.
Is there something to be bringing?
You do you. That's all I'm ever going to ask of you. Unless it
If
fucks
you're
with me, in which
ready.
case I'll fuck with you back.
Great.
Let's go. And she turns, she heads to the elevator, slams her fist on the button. You can see that there's tiny, tiny indentations in the metal around the button. It's clear that somebody punches this button a lot. And then the door opens up. She gets in. And she just sticks out her foot to keep the door open.
I enter. Yep.
She hits the button to head down. The elevator starts going down. To be honest, I was surprised that you took me up on my offer tonight, of all nights.
What's special about tonight?
You got a lot of energy pumping through you. I can see it.
Wouldn't that be a good night to go thrashing?
Depends on the kind of person you are. Some people, when they get that much energy, it scares them. They head back down. They go sleep. They take a Xanax. They just pass the fuck out. You, on the other hand, decide that you want to go do something about it. Admire that. Let's see your fists. Huh. Spend more time at a computer than you do with tools, I see.
Yeah, I have a day job that pays my bills that doesn't involve much building. Would that it were different, but normal folk would be a little thrown off by my creations, so.
Who the fuck cares? What makes you happy?
Working in Sister's workshop now that I can, so I think I've had a pretty good turn of events.
Alright, look. This is what's gonna happen, okay? Remember how I said you do you?
Yep.
Just don't get in my way. You're welcome to do whatever the fuck you want. I understand that you're your own person with your own needs. You want to walk?
I have a car if that would be more convenient.
It's 45 minutes. Depends. If you're feeling amped up, we can go in the car, or we can go on the street. It might give you a chance to cool off.
Let's walk. Could do with the exercise. Sitting in a computer all day ain't great.
The fuck you mean exercise? Look at you.
Not as good shape as I was during basic, but I don't think anyone ever is.
The fuck drove you to basic in the first place? And she just starts walking.
Help pay for my tuition?
I don't believe that for a second.
Just figuring out my life. Seemed like a way to get paid to get in shape and learn how to use a gun.
Was it that you needed discipline in your life, or you just wanted an excuse to hurt people?
Didn't hurt very many people at all, so it must have been the discipline.
What'd you do? What service?
Navy. Ended up specializing in engineering, of course. Once I got past being an ordinary seaman. Tee-hee. Oh, how boring those jokes got, but brings a bit of a smile to my face now that it's been so long.
Does that make you a good swimmer?
Yep. I mean, most of the time, if, unless you're sure that a signal's been sent and you'll be found, you're better off not knowing how to swim, so it's a short death. Which is why they didn't used to know. How about you? You swim?
Here and there. So you know that the question you're never supposed to ask somebody in the service?
What's that?
Did you ever shoot anybody?
Oh, I mean, we did lots of training with soap rounds. Shot a lot of my, fellow comrades.
Did you rack up a body count?
I did quite well, actually, in our sharpshooting training. I believe this is the point where I'm supposed to say, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Don't give me classified bullshit.
I'll tell you someday. Not today.
Which means yes. Because you know that if the answer was no, then you could tell me right off the bat.
Or do I want to have you think that?
That's not a healthy way to live, Patches. I don't care if you're Navy. You're not bad like me.
You're bad? Sure you aren't just playing into the tropes? I heard the music that you were playing. That isn't exactly typical bad girl music.
What makes
Nothing
music
wrong with
bad? Explain to me
Nothing.
that.
Loud, noisy metal where people are screaming a lot. That's usually considered music that bad people listen to.
You know what my favorite movie of all time is?
What?
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. Actually, or do you just tell people that?
A Clockwork Orange contains a scene in which somebody is just getting the living piss kicked out of them while listening to Singing in the Rain.
Poetic.
Or are you intent on this, huh? Fucking with me? If you're coming along here to stop me, I'm not going to be impressed.
I'm not here to stop you. I mean, unless by thrashing you mean going out and murdering children. That's something I maybe wouldn't want to be witness to, wouldn't want to know you do, and frankly wouldn't be terribly keen on doing.
You never popped a kid in your life?
Nope.
We're
If
going
I
to
never even have to.
Catacombs.
Ah.
So-
That'll do. Hipsters have made it cool.
So for people who are not as familiar with the plateau, this is the route that they're taking. You'll see that right down on the bottom left is Westmount Square, and they are walking basically along downtown, pretty much through downtown in order to get to Catacombs. And it doesn't take long to arrive. Catacombs, as it is a small club that used to be one that really focused mostly on heavy metal, and then sort of expanded itself to make sure that it sort of accommodated other places, other genres of music, and also comedy. I've actually performed at Catacombs myself once or twice, but I wouldn't necessarily say that that's a proud moment of my life.
I'll have to ask you for that story later.
Either way, this time around, it's a goth night. And after that, it's kind of an open mic sort of thing.
Gothland it is.
Now, she's still wearing her, leather jacket with the studs in the back that says cock. Very clearly not dressed for goth. Anyway, we're not going to go see Vivaldi, all right?
I'd be up for that too, but I'm happy with this.
Not yet.
Never actually been in here. Went to Passport, but now that's turned into an arcade bar. Guess Catacombs is the greater success of the two.
Passport? Really?
Yeah, it used to be a goth bar.
You strike me as a Sphinx girl.
Well,
But I guess
one
that's a
have
little too old for you, huh?
Guess so.
Whatever. She looks at the guy standing outside the door, who basically just the bouncer, and just looks at him and lifts her head and opens the door, and he shrivels back just a little bit, like you can tell that there's this little bit shrink, and then she holds the door open and says, "Après vous."
Nod and go in.
When you go in, you see that a set is finishing here. Kind of, it's just one person playing industrial music and mixing it, while teenagers and slightly older, well, like 18-year-olds and slightly older, are swaying in time with music. Faces very pale, hair very stringy, and outfit's very black. And she sighs, irritated, and just hangs out next to the bar.
You don't look happy to be here.
This music doesn't speak to me. It's about reveling in your own sadness. It's not about fighting to fuck something up to make you better.
True.
What music speaks to you?
Industrial, but not this speed. Not this navel gazing. Much things with a intense beat that you can work to, that you can motivates you.
The only thing that these people are doing right now is they're trying to protect their own inner sense of pissed off. Protect it from getting out, and they're hoping that that'll get them laid tonight.
Basically.
Cool. Anyway. The set ends. Nobody claps. And you can tell that there's a different kind of crowd that's sort of filtering in. Some of the goth kids stay, others leave. And then this band steps up, and you can tell that the kids there are like they've got a lot of bravado and a lot of energy for what is probably covering some form of stage fright. Clearly these people are not that experienced, and they're pulling out guitars that look old and beat up. Their amps are clearly really not like up to snuff. And one of them walks up to the microphone and screams out, "We're Universal!" And then he counts it down, and they start playing. And their playing is, it could be described at best as uninspired. And Incisor just starts nodding her head.
To the music?
Yeah.
This isn't exactly the kind of music you can thrash to.
No? Why do you say that?
A little weak. I mean, they're young. What do you expect from a local band, right? But...
Patches, I will give you credit for coming out here, but I will say one thing. You're dumber than the blue guy that you walk around with. And she walks forward onto the dance floor, and instantly you see that she's moving with just a little bit more, shall we say, sensually, as opposed to the aggressive stance she normally takes. And she walks up to one guy who's dancing, little overweight, kind of, like he's got the torn shirt sleeves and all that. And she walks up to him and she gives him a small little smile, and he nods. And then she just reaches back and decks him incredibly hard with one fist, and just slams him so that his head just whirls around, and then she shoves him right in the back towards a bunch of other people who are dancing.
Was there any moshing going on?
No.
Not terribly subtle of her. I'm waiting to see the reaction.
So he stumbles out, smashes into other people. They look up and they have this snarl look on their face. And then the bouncer by the door that the bar is so relatively close for, he sighs and he's just like, "Oh, guys." And she then picks up somebody else, this time a woman, and shakes her and throws her into him. She starts going around in a circle, and just, now she's not actually touching anybody, but she's just snarling at people from the outside. And then you start seeing her like tipping people's hands that are holding drinks, just completely fucking up what's going on around here.
I'm just going to stay back and observe. I'm learning a lot about what Incisor thinks is fun, and I'm not quite sure it's my idea of fun.
And as it starts getting worse, she reaches forward and you see her mouth open. Wide, wider, wider. And then the guy who she decked originally comes up to her, punches her right in the chest, and she smiles, grabs a hold of his arm, reaches up, and then takes a chunk out of his bicep, just the whole thing, and spits it onto the ground. And you're just standing there,
Yep.
nodding your head.
Yep.
And the musician, he screams, and then the singer looks back and he screams in the exact same pitch, and then they start playing harder and faster. Now this guy's trying to pick a fight with her, swinging his arms over her head, and she continues to just, every once in a while, just take a hit and then return with a couple of other strikes of her own. Everyone in the bar is now shoving each other, and things start becoming more than just a simple mosh pit. This now is outright a barroom brawl.
Let's look at my stats.
What are you looking for in terms of your stats?
I don't have these things called intimacies to guide me.
Intimacies are a crutch.
They are. Honestly, for now, I feel like she's just going to continue to hang back and watch how it progresses.
So the fight starts getting more and more, and the band is eating it up, and they are just blasting forth music. They finish one song, but they don't even pause for half a second before launching right into the next one. And then they are, they're starting to really get into it. Every once in a while, the lead singer starts kicking people who are trying to get up onto the stage with a steel-toed boot as he's starting to get a little more strut in his step. And then just as Incisor takes the guy by the throat who she's been fighting and slams him into the ground, and then police burst into here, you see Incisor look up, and she sighs, just as if she, just drank a beer that she's been wanting after an entire day.
I'm gonna dip in, grab her, and pull her towards the side exit that's to the patio so we can hop the patio. Because it's only got a half wall on it.
So she lets this happen. She's a bit bruised up and she's got blood on her, but she doesn't seem to be, in any kind of real danger. And then after she hops the patio, she holds up a hand and she just breathes for a moment and says, just wait a second. And then she leans against the wall. I'm not done yet.
Yeah, but probably easier to continue your night not with police trying to question.
I said fucking wait, Patches. I'm not done yet. They'll be out in a second. And after about 2 minutes, the band comes out onto the patio. They're not accompanied by cops, but they're just like, it looks like somebody told them to haul all their shit off the stage right away so that they can put it away out on the patio. And that's when why do I keep calling her Patches? It's when Incisor gets up onto the balcony, lifts her legs over, goes down, and then slams the lead singer in the back with a hand. I told you. Didn't I tell you? The point is that you can't wait for me to do that for you. You got to get out there and you got to rile them up your own damn self. That's what it means to just control a crowd. This shit is not up to me. It's up to you. And you managed to keep it going in there, and I'm appreciating that. But next time, I'm not going to be in that audience. And you're going to have to make them want to thrash everything out themselves. You got me? The singer grins and offers her a cigarette, and she just lifts a hand, shakes her head. Don't fuck up next time. And she rolls off the balcony. Or the sort of the fence on the patio. Back down next to you. Where were you?
Observing, learning.
Learning what?
Now I'm learning that you're the one that starts the party.
That's what you think.
Sure looks like it.
You think you're better than me because you're unseelie? Is that it?
What? I'm saying that you started the party. Is that some way of judging you? I'm not. I'm specifically saying you started the party. Those are the words. Those are what they mean. I typically walk into places and the mosh pit's already going. Clearly someone starts it and you're that person.
It's not supposed to be me.
No. Should be the band good enough. Ready enough.
I've been working on this kid for about 6 months.
That's dedication.
I wouldn't expect you to understand. Look, if you gotta do your thing, if you gotta go ravage, whatever, don't touch this band. They're under my protection.
Got it.
I need some ice. Where can we get ice around here? Fuck. That guy's an asshole anyway.
Gesture down a block towards the Bell Pro. You can ask for a cup of soda, all ice, and hold the soda.
I'm not going into one of those places unless we get something to eat. Oh, fuck me.
Hot dog, poutine? Or would you rather something a little more edible?
Took everything I had not to just eat that guy, Arm.
Come on, let's grab a burger or something.
Fuck. Not supposed to hit girls.
I think once they hit you and those rules kind of start melting away.
You know what that shithead does?
What?
He comes to this place every 3 weeks or so, finds somebody else, uses them, leaves them, and he comes back again. But he always has promises of being able to be the sensitive one, you know? Flashes money around.
Professional pickup artist?
Yeah. Prick.
I'm glad you used him to start the party.
Cops are going to be looking for me at this point, aren't they? I'm going to have to stay clear of that place for a while.
Just change your jacket back to tits. I'll be looking for cock.
When you get into the Belle Province, these are restaurants that haven't quite escaped the look and feel of the 1970s. This is a place that serves hot dogs, hamburgers, and french fries. Essentially, that's it. Occasionally, you'll see some idiot order a smoked meat there, but that's not really a good idea. And of course, as a Montreal tradition, this is one of the places where you can get a very traditional Montreal-style poutine, cheese curds, brown gravy, and french fries. So, why did you come? To learn about me?
I'm down to thrash, I guess. As I said, this is new to me, being part of the people who rile people up. I'm used to just joining in the crowds. You seem to be more of a leader.
I had shit to do tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing me along. There's somewhere else we could go? Night's still young.
Where would you go? And she takes the cup of ice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And just she tears a part of her t-shirt and then just dumps the ice in the sleeve and holds that up to her cheek.
Couple places further down St. Catherine. Some of them must still be open. Usually house a few young up-and-coming bands. I mean, there's foofs, but that's usually that's gotten a bit trendy lately.
I don't do Fafoon. Fuck that place.
Great, we'll continue on past it. Usually gets a bit better beyond there.
What the fuck are you wanting to do with Sister's Files? Really?
Really?
You trying to steal his legacy?
He just pieced out and left us in charge with no instructions, no list of who's a friend or who's an enemy. So we're just left trying to figure it out every time someone shows up.
How well did you know him?
Not that well. I mean, he was nice to me. He helped me build some shit. But I mean, he goes off on his own and does his own thing. I mean, one of those crazy mad scientists, right? Genius, but little scatterbrained. Clearly, he liked me enough to leave me partially in charge, or maybe that was just him wanting someone that would actually know what the hell to do in the workshop.
I never looked at his files. I don't know what's in there.
How'd you get me that appointment with Kaylee? Where was that?
I mean, like, I have access to his schedule. I have access to his contacts. But I don't look in his files. I don't see his patents, and I don't look at his research. I don't understand a thing of it.
I at least would understand it, but if you think that he would prefer me not to, then fine. But it would be great to know of any upcoming appointments so that we could at least not draw weapons at his friends.
I'm not convinced that you shouldn't.
Still, we'd at least know their name before they walked in the door.
I'll do it, but you gotta do me a favor.
What's that?
People don't get to find out what I do unless they come with me. They don't find out because somebody who came with me yacked.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Don't call me ma'am. She picks up the hot dog that's still in its wrapper and she just bites it right down the center. To her, it doesn't even seem like it's a oh, check it out, look at me kind of thing. It's just natural to her to do that at this point. Fuck, chewing hurts. She just drops it on the table, puts the ice back up.
Slugged you pretty hard. May I? When I go to look at the punch, the injury.
It's her jaw's been rattled a bit.
Yeah.
You can roll perception medicine.
One success.
It's probably not broken.
At least there's that. Didn't tell her as much. Still, Do people usually slug you that hard?
When I'm lucky. You better eat this. I don't think I'm going to be eating anything solid for the next few hours.
Look what dinner it is. I grab the hot dog and stand up from the table and head towards the door.
Show me you.
And wrap the hot dog and shove the rest of it in my face. Heading east on St. Catherine.
I wish I knew why he left.
I mean, Kaylee mentioned that he was trying to save a life. I think there's something important going on that he felt he needed to do and not tell anyone what it was.
He could have told me.
Maybe it's one of those, the more you know, the more danger you're in sort of situations.
Do I look like somebody who runs from danger?
Yeah, but is he the kind of person that would want to protect you from danger?
It's my job to protect him. Asshole.
A few blocks east, there used to be some small clubs that could hold, a few hundred people in standing room mosh pits. Usually on a weekend night, they'd have bands going. A little quieter on Sundays, but there's still more college crowds on Sundays than CJEP.
All right, fuck it, let's go.
Head into one of those, see if there's anything going on.
Yeah, I just can't think tonight.
Oh.
He didn't give you any indication. Any at all?
No, he straight up left a message. I found out when Duke of Granville called us in for a meeting.
Granville's a wiener. Who gives it up?
Well, who gives up what?
He just gave up on us. Decided to quit. Puts himself into his freehold in Westmount and just leaves the entire duchy to somewhere else. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I think he's probably struggling with some personal issues and isn't capable of being a proper leader.
There's got to be more to it than that.
Probably.
He's Fiona. They don't fuck around when it comes to that.
Dude,
Fuck.
I know so little about the houses.
It's just like every man in my life's a disappointment right now.
Yeah. Let's go thrash it out. Duck into the club. It's a couple steps. It's like half a floor down to the sort of general club area. The stage is raised by a couple feet, and then there's a balcony all around, and there's a bar up on the balcony in the far corner. Kind of like Cafe Campus, Petit Campus, wherever they do the Fringe for All, but yeah. Usually there's some pretty good moshing going on. Is there?
Is twerking allowed while thrashing?
No.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not what I would call a hardcore sort of mosh scene, right? Like, There's people who are mostly just like shoulder bumping themselves, and every once in a while just like body slamming each other, but there aren't really elbows flying or fists or anything major like that.
Uninspiring. Guess it's time for us to inspire. Head down into the mosh pit. Start shoving people just a little harder than they're shoving me.
Now, how big is Patches?
She is 5'5", so a little on the shorter side, and relatively like thin but muscular. So she's basically skin
She's
bones,
wiry.
but very little fat on her body.
So, after shoving a couple of people, one of them turns around, and this is a woman who's got like just stud spikes in her ear, on one ear only, and she's got kind of like fingerless gloves sort of thing. She turns around and she goes, like, the fuck?
Sorry, if you're worried about the intensity of the mosh pit, you should probably stay on the edges for safety. Do you want me to help guide you out?
So, all of this you would have had to say, like, we're obviously not going to do it here, but obviously you'd have to do this while shouting.
Yeah, I'd be like, it's safer on the edges! And I'd point to, like, the edge of the mosh pit.
And then she rears back and she attempts to kick you.
Alright.
We'll say, like, right in the knees.
Fuck. I'm going to attempt to avoid this.
All right, let's roll initiative.
Yay!
7.
This is a d20. I'm playing the wrong game. 14.
Okay, so it's your action first.
So what is...
Or rather, her attempt... She's just attempting to kick you in the knees.
Great. I'm going to attempt to avoid this. So my plan is to dodge. That's the combat action.
Yeah, so you're just doing a full dodge?
Yeah.
So that's dexterity brawl.
Athletics.
Dex athletics.
That's what my...
Oh,
my
you're dodging the way. You're not, like, parrying it. You're just...
Yeah, no,
literally
just
hitting it.
dodging.
Okay.
2.
2 successes for me.
2. Sorry. I'm still learning. That's that, and that's that. No successes? It's more than... Diff is more than 5, yeah?
It's 6.
Yeah.
All right, so then you're gonna take a little bit of a beating.
Great.
No successes. So she connects with your knee, but it just glances off.
Stings a bit, but it's not going to leave any damage.
No.
I give her a much harder shove back this time.
Are you looking to, like, actually fight her, or are you just trying to get away from her?
I'm trying to push her hard enough that she's pushed, like, into the crowd and away from me, and enough that hopefully it scares her.
So she backs off a bit. When you look over, though, there's this one section of the mosh pit where people are just sort of like, the density's larger, and you can tell that where Incisor is dancing, she's got like a good meter around her where nobody dares to tread.
I'm gonna sort of mosh my way over there, but trying to push people closer to her.
Just trying to shove people closer
Basically,
to Incisor.
pincer movement in the crowd.
So as you manage to shove somebody close to her, he stumbles in, and then she looks up, and then she barks a word at him that you don't hear, but it's like, it's low enough that he can hear, but that you can't. And he straightens up, and Incisor starts to laugh as you see this guy's face fall. Roll me perception alertness.
One success. Assuming it's diff 8 or less.
He's wet his pants.
going to try to guide him towards the edge of the mosh pit. Like, push him that towards the edge as I go past him.
So as you push, you can feel like now there's a part of the floor that's just a tiny bit slippery. And Incisor's still just laughing. Now there's about 1.5 meters away from her that everyone is steering clear. And the guy looks up and he wipes his brow and he just says, thanks.
Keep pushing him. And I'm not going to ruin her fun, so I'm just going to stick near the, not like inside of her, but making my way closer to the front, closer to the band, closer to the deafeningly loud music.
So the band is...
The quality isn't great, but the volume is high.
Yeah, so the band is not amazing.
No.
Their main thing is a thumping bass line and a really, really, really loud subwoofer. You see that the guy who has embarrassed himself has now decided to leave. Occasionally you'll see that there's a few people who slip on the ground and they've, like they stumble and then put themselves up and look down and they don't really realize what they're slipping in, but they don't care at that point.
Here, whatever.
Yeah. But otherwise, there isn't any major incidents going on unless you decide to do something else. But it's just a good heavy night of dancing at this point.
Yeah. I guess, yep.
So once it becomes, pretty clear that the band is wrapping up, they stop. The crowd starts to filter back towards the bars kind of thing. Incisor just leans against the wall.
How's your jaw doing?
It hurts like hell. Why are you fucking with people, pushing them into me?
I don't know. I thought people were afraid of you, thought that it would be fun, but I guess you prefer to have your space, so...
Somebody wants to dance with me, Patches. They gotta know how to handle it. And that guy just could not... he could not deal with it.
No, he could not.
Look. People don't dance with people like me. Yeah, Liz... take him out. People don't dance with people like me. It just doesn't happen.
Would you rather they dance with you?
Doesn't matter what I want. Look. Dreaming makes us this way for a reason, right? I'm not getting all fucking... I'm not gonna get all religious preachy on you. But, I'm a product of dreams of hunger. It's who I am. Who are you?
I know what I like to do, but who that makes me? Still figuring that out. Being put into an alliance with a couple of straight edges is a bit... not my style. Nothing against people who actually choose to legit be straight edge. Good for them, but definitely not my jam. Fucking hard asses, those two. I mean, Sophia's all flowers and butterflies, but Christ. Give me another sob story, will ya?
Come on, let's take a walk. She heads out onto the street. She walks over to one of those depenners with a ice chest on the outside, and with just a small whistle, she rips open the door, pulls out a whole sack of ice, lets it close. The lock now lies shattered on the ground. Reaches into her pocket, drops a $5 bill on it, and just keeps walking. She's now got a bag of ice that's like this big.
Yep.
And she's just like slaps it on the side of her head. They don't thrash. This wouldn't occur to them. And I guarantee you that they think that we're doing something a lot worse than what we were doing tonight.
Especially when I see your jaw tomorrow.
That's why they need you.
Be their immoral compass.
Zister's not clean.
No. The more I hear, the more apparent that becomes.
Zister's not clean, but his heart was always in the right place. Which means that he was doing good. Doing good around here, and I don't think that it's wise for that to stop. But he wasn't clean. And that's going to be up to you to help that out. Because you understand that sometimes you need to get dirty in order to make things right.
Yep.
I may not agree with everything that your court believes, but I know Zister did. And I know I trusted him.
We aren't all ravaging and doing what we want. We aren't just inherently selfish. We just don't think that all the rules need to be followed all the time. Clearly you don't either. You, like, gesture back behind us.
It's not simple.
No.
Being Seelie does not mean everything that everyone thinks it means, and being a Seelie Redcap means that basically no one ever wants to spend any time with you. So, I'm just going to ask you once, while we're out here, to give those two a shot. Because you don't get knighthoods like Braum's unless you do something special. And I'm going to assume that Sophia's got something else that I don't know about.
I recognize that. And I'll do my best. I think there'll be some headbutting before we sort everything out.
I think Sophia believes so hard in her own worldview. And that's admirable. But I think that she doesn't understand what it takes to live like this.
Yeah.
And she's about to have a very rude awakening. And there's going to be some people that piss her off and she won't be able to do anything about it. And there's going to be some people that fall in love with her and she's just going to hate their guts. And there's going to be people who she will want to fix and they will be unfixable because that's the way they were made.
Yeah. And I'm kind of surprised she didn't wet her pants. I don't think she's ever seen a gun in real life. There's probably gonna be a lot more where that came from before we're through with all this trouble.
But that's just it, Patches. It's not trouble, it's life. You can't think of this in terms of like a rough patch. It is what it is.
It's our life now, so long as we continue to be involved. And I have the skills to deal with it. I am an asset. And I hope that they can see that and make use of it.
I think so. Because the reality of the situation is that unless people like you and me stand up and do something, then the world doesn't deserve beautiful things like Sophia. Which means that sometimes she's going to have to fix the world for herself, because it's not enough for her to stand on the sidelines. And if the only reward that we get is at the end of the day she smiles at us once, then I'll accept that, even if she'll never know it.
Hopefully she learns to give a little bit more than a smile. She is pretty, but...
It's not just pretty. You remember those Lord of the Ring movies that came out a while ago?
Yep.
And there was that whole scene with, what's her name?
The really pretty elf.
So you even already know who I'm talking about. It's not just pretty. There's something else. And it goes beyond, and you might not be able to see it, but I believe in her right to exist as an ideal that we'll never achieve.
Yeah.
I live down here. There's beauty down here with you and me.
Yeah. And I think you're capable of, you're teaching a young musician how to win a crowd.
He needs help. He's just a kid and he has a belief and a dream and he doesn't know how to get there yet. You ever know anyone like that?
Plenty of people. I think that's all of us. Until we give up on the dream. But we don't give up on dreams.
I do sometimes.
No, I think it's important. I think Sophia will inspire all kinds of beautiful artists, but the young musician like that, take someone like you, someone that sees good in lower places.
The only one thing I'm worried about is that Sophia's gonna fuck Braum up. With promises to help.
Does Braum need help?
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's more fucked up than my jaw.
Is there someone that would be better equipped to help him?
A friend. And I don't know if he has any.
I guess that's what Sophia and I and all of us need to learn to be.
Just make sure that you don't let her fuck him up without looking at the logic behind it all. I'm sorry I
guess
kicked
it's
you.
my job. You kicked me?
When you try to get into the office.
Oh, that. See? I'd already forgotten. It's fine.
It's not fine because if you continue to try to go into his records, I'll have to do it again.
And that's fine. If...
Yeah, but now if I try to kick you, you're just gonna come back with your, like, I was in the Navy bullshit, and I'll, like, have to worry about whether or not you'll ice my ass.
Twist your arm and pull a gun on you? Yeah, only if I feel like my life is legitimately threatened. That's the upside and downside to having gone through military training. I still have that voice in the back of my head asking whether this is an appropriate time to draw my weapon, because if it's not, I'm gonna have to fill out a fuck ton of forms. But now I don't have to do that, so I guess that voice is gonna go away. My god. You know, they make the military seem really cool. All those ads for the Marines. Do you remember those? Those were so fucking cool. So then you get there and it's like, oh, discharge a weapon. 20 pages of paperwork. Woohoo! Fuck.
At least you had the discipline for it.
Yeah. Kinda. There's a reason why I'm no longer involved. It's turned out to not quite be my pace anymore.
Is that okay with you?
Oh yeah. I mean, making sure buildings are to code isn't exactly my favorite thing to do, but it's still better than standing around and let a drill sergeant yell at me just because I feel like that's what they have to do to train us better.
Smarker like you could be an officer. Why do you put up with that shit?
Because officers have fucking responsibilities I don't want to deal with. I don't want to be responsible if some idiot goes off and shoots himself while cleaning his gun because he doesn't fucking understand the protocols.
You'd rather be responsible for some idiot who managed to rescue a dragon and keep it hidden in its dungeon that he probably shouldn't have, alongside making deals with prodigals who will probably end up leading the forces of autumn right to our doorstep? That's what you would prefer?
Yeah, because that actually sounds interesting. Canadian military doesn't get involved in most scenarios, and the ones they have been getting involved in lately haven't been ones that I've been inspired to fight for. Saving a baby dragon? That actually sounds pretty cool. Maybe he'll grow up and be our friend. Have a fucking dragon ally.
You want to be the next Khaleesi? You get too many swirls on your face for that.
Yeah. But I'm not so sure about spoilers. Fucking my nephew. That's not something I'm interested in.
If my nephew was that hot.
Still weird. Still fucking weird.
You do you. That's all I care about. Unless what you're doing is fucking with me.
Nope.
My fucking jaw.
Yeah.
He is a prick. You done?
Nah. I'm just a little bummed that we haven't been able to find a decent band. But what do you expect on a Sunday night?
Good bands play on Thursdays.
Yep. Let's go out on a Thursday then. And let's get you somewhere with painkillers.
I'll just spend a night in the freehold, it'll be fine. I'll wake up and my jaw will be... But it'll still be fucked up, but it's always fucked up. I can wrap my head around a monster truck tire.
Hey, must have been popular as a kid, you know? Fit your whole fist in your mouth. Be cooler than all the other kids. No? Okay, never mind, not funny.
Dudes are glad I swallow right up until the point where I do. Come on. Let's get back.
Some like a little bit of teeth, but
I imagine that knockers pull better than red caps.
Pull?
Well, we're both going home empty-handed tonight, but...
Oh, I wasn't out for picking up any cute young thing. But yeah, probably. Suppose we're more stereotypically whatever.
Just me. There's hope for you yet, young one.
Isn't that always the case? Those that want something can't have it, and those that can don't want it.
Don't even fucking try to tell me that Sophia would have issues pulling if she wanted to.
No, I'm saying she can, but does she want to?
God, that would be a waste, wouldn't it?
I mean, I suppose, but whatever makes her happy. If her joy is just having people fawn over her, and that's what brings her the greatest happiness, then why should she have to give any more?
It's not about fawning, and if it is, it means she isn't grown up. You might not think it, but love makes a difference in this world. It actually can conquer all.
It honestly leads you to do some pretty fucking stupid shit.
Sure, it conquers reason.
Yeah.
You're not terrible, Patches.
You aren't terrible either.
She gets up, and she starts heading back towards the spark.
Yep.
Do you have anything else that you want to accomplish?
I mean, at some point, either tonight or tomorrow, I'll stop by home and get a change of clothes to leave at the spark. But I'll probably spend the night at the freehold.
All right. All right, that makes sense. Roll to see if you can successfully get clothes. Oh no, you botch!
I got a 7.
So there you go, you went thrashing.
Note to yourself, don't go thrashing on a Sunday. No thrashable bands.
Are people already abandoning inches? Oh
That's
no,
fine.
it's any. He'll pick all the wrong ships anyway. A dashboard confessional CD?
What?
Ew.
Definitely not.
Dashboard confessional. Holy shit.
Yes. No.
They're still technically active.
Who? Oh, them?
Yeah,
Probably.
Dashboard Confessional. They're active, and they took a hiatus from 2011 to 2015, but they're active. The name of the band is derived from the song The Sharp Hint of New Tears. Alright, so that's just about the most that
Sharp
thing I've heard of.
Tears?
The Sharp Hint of New Tears.
Oh my god. It's like... Oh man, I can't even remember. It was so bad. I had some username that I had for about 2 weeks before everyone was like, wow, that's really emo. And I was like, oh, that's definitely not what I meant.
What was it?
Tear-stained hate. Tear-stained hate. Ugh.
You actually had a username called Tear Stained Hate?
I thought it was really poetic, and then 2 weeks later I was like, wow, no, this is definitely not what I meant. I was 16, okay? Fuck.
So, to recall something that somebody said earlier, I forget who it was, I did play a she with Appearance 3 for the longest time. And it actually worked out quite well. But yeah, he was ugly for a she. Face was scarred up. Look, I was also not terribly old when this happened, and so, you know, there was a lot of, like, stereotypical bullshit going on. But, like, he had a facial scar, which basically drove his appearance down to, it would have been 1, except because he was she, it ended up still looking kind of hot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a thing. I actually think we learned a bunch about patches more than we learned about Incisor, but what did I perform at that club? It was improv comedy. For a few years, I was part of an improv troupe that was kind of like the house improv troupe at a comedy club. As jobs go, it didn't pay very well, but it got me a lot of stage experience, and occasionally that troupe would go to different clubs, or would go to corporate events and stuff like that. And then one time we performed at Catacombs, and it was actually, it wasn't bad in there. It was pretty nice, but the crowd was just so not into it at that point in time, and I think it was mostly because they were basically waiting there for the metal band that was going to perform after us. So not great.
Yeah, no, not the kind of audience I would want as a improv performer. Hey guys, so we're a comedy troupe. I know you're all here like decked out in your studs and leather and like ready to thrash, but want to have some laughs?
Well, the problem actually ended up being that the guy, one of the members of our troupe, the one who organized it, decided to push like really edgy stuff that night, and another person in the troupe like hopped right up there with him. But the problem is that edginess isn't funny unless it's done right. Just kind of going up there and being like, huh, 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 rape, huh, huh, is not, that's not funny, right?
No,
like,
it's not.
That's shocking, and shocking is not the same. So the rest of us were trying to be funny, and those two were trying to be shocking, and it didn't do well. I'd like to see Patches abuse Incisor's vulnerability.
She might if she wants to get Incisor to do something for her.
Can I get a location? All right, I'm hearing morgue, graveyard. How about a malt shop? All right, we're in a malt shop. Now let's hear a profession. Sir, that's a felony, not a profession. We would have taken morgue. Morgue is a great place for comedy.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, there will be another bonus session, this time with the two who were not here.
I am excited.
Are you excited?
I'm excited to rewatch it afterwards.
Yes, Kate won't be able to make it, unfortunately, but that's okay. One question that I am going to ask, though, is what do you guys believe was Kate's play of the game? Because she will naturally win the play of the game this time around. But what do you think it was?
Crusher of Cities.
this isn't going to necessarily be a vote. I'm just curious as to what you guys thought it was this time around. This is a little more of a introspection city as opposed to pure action. Although I definitely look forward to the next full game. So there'll be some stuff happening there. The crosshair says calling out Braum and Sophia. Yeah, Kate, what'd you learn this session?
Learned that you stupid face. No, I learned that Patches isn't interested in being bad for the sake of being bad. And that going in and starting a fight with a bunch of strangers is not her idea of fun.
It's fair.
She'll get her hands dirty, but not just for the sake of getting her hands dirty.
Makes sense. And now she wants to go dancing on a Thursday. There are no other streams happening today, I'm not sure. I don't think Captain Daff is streaming today. Is there anybody out there who's also streaming that we should just shout out?
I'm not sure. Don't think so, but yeah. I know the Braum is a mess, that's true. Yeah, that's like the one note that I took 2 notes this session. Zister is not clean.
I'm streaming today, it's Sunday.
Yeah. And don't let Sophia fuck up Braum. Those are my 2 notes from the whole session.
Alright, well, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Kate.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
We'll do a full celebration of the fact that Changeling the Dreaming 20th Anniversary Edition is now available on drivethrurpg.com, but for now we'll just tell you to go there and get it, because you should, especially because Krister threw down some sharp wordplay for that, and it's an important thing for you to check out. In the meantime, we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, right here on this channel, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, for more Changeling the Streaming. Thanks for tuning in.